Should we remain friends with an ex after a breakup? This is a question that crosses many hearts and minds in the aftermath of love lost. Some say that staying friends with an ex is a sign of maturity, a modern way to maintain a bond, to reconnect, or to heal emotionally without plunging into overwhelming pain. It's a method that many choose, hoping to either rekindle something old or soften the blow of separation. But is it truly wise? Is it genuinely helpful for the heart and mind? If you've recently gone through a breakup, and you're contemplating whether you should maintain a friendship with your ex, it's time to take a step back and look at the reality, without illusions. Let's examine this through two lenses. In the first scenario, the relationship ended because your partner betrayed you. Perhaps they cheated, mistreated you, lied, manipulated, or juggled multiple people behind your back. In such painful endings, when your emotional state is raw and vulnerable, forcing a friendship can deepen your wounds. Staying close to someone who hurt you may only invite further emotional destruction. Each interaction, each reminder, becomes a slow-dripping poison. Over time, you might find yourself emotionally exhausted, confused, and even broken. Now let's consider the second situation. Maybe the breakup wasn't due to their actions, but rather your own missteps, things you said or did that unintentionally pushed them away. Perhaps, after the breakup, you've realized the mistakes, and now you want to stay friends to prove you've changed. You might believe that by being kind and supportive, they'll notice your growth and come back. You hope for a second chance, for love to bloom once more. But here's the truth, once someone has chosen to walk away, their emotional perception of you has already shifted. Their feelings have already changed, and trying to win them back through a forced friendship often does more harm than good. It doesn't encourage respect or appreciation, it cultivates a mindset in them that no matter what they do, you'll always be there, forgiving, waiting, enduring. This dynamic becomes unhealthy, especially when the other person subconsciously sees you as a fallback plan. Some people, particularly men, tend to move on quickly to new relationships when they know someone safe is still holding space for them. You may become the emotional cushion they run back to whenever their new connections disappoint them. And if you secretly hope for their return, holding on to that hope through friendship, you may be setting yourself up for heartbreak all over again. In fact, many people who pursue this path find themselves stuck in a gray zone, neither fully moved on nor truly loved in return. There have been countless stories where someone who used to be the official partner ends up, shockingly, becoming the other person when a new lover comes into the picture. Suddenly, calls and messages from the new partner start arriving, full of accusations and insults. You, the one who came first, are treated like an intruder, just because you remained in that blurry in-between space. You didn't demand clarity. You didn't draw boundaries. And in doing so, you lost your place. It's important to understand that exes, especially men, may want to stay friends not out of love, but convenience. They crave emotional comfort, perhaps sexual familiarity, without the responsibility or commitment. If you've changed and are now treating them with more kindness than ever before, that comfort can feel intoxicating to them, but it doesn't mean they're coming back. It simply means they enjoy the benefits of you without the burden of commitment. And because many struggle to control their desires, it's tempting for them to keep an ex close, as a safety net, a warm body, a familiar face. You may fall into a situationship, a place where you're neither together nor apart. And that's a deeply painful place to be, especially when you deserve more. Ultimately, the decision is yours. But remember this, you deserve clarity, respect, and love that is whole, not fragmented. Don't let nostalgia, guilt, or misplaced hope bind you to someone who sees you as an option. Set yourself free to heal completely, so that your next chapter doesn't start with confusion, but with confidence. Staying friends with an ex after a breakup, does it really help? Or does it secretly hurt more than we realize? In all honesty, While many people argue that remaining friends with an ex shows emotional maturity, I have yet to see any real benefits from it. What I have witnessed, time and again, are people getting emotionally wounded over and over again. Why? Because once you're no longer in a relationship, you lose the right to speak up about how you feel. You're no longer entitled to ask for explanations, care, or clarity. You're not their partner anymore, so what place do you have to demand anything? That's the first cost, emotional vulnerability without protection. The second cost. You unknowingly block yourself from future love. No man who is serious, committed, and sincere wants to enter into a relationship with a woman who's still in contact with her ex. It's that simple. Many people, especially those I've worked with, find themselves repeatedly betrayed or hurt in new relationships, not because they don't deserve love, but because they've never fully let go of the old. Their emotional energy still lingers in the past, and that weakens every new beginning. If you truly want to open your heart to someone new, the first step is to cut all ties with your ex. That's the bare minimum level of respect you owe to any future relationship, and to yourself. Only when you've created that distance will your mind and heart feel truly free. And so, the truth becomes clear: before you meet someone new, you shouldn't be friends with your ex. And even after you meet someone new, that friendship should still not exist. Let's face it, we're not so desperate for companionship that the only person we can call a friend is the one who used to break our heart. If that really is the case, then it's time to reflect deeply. What kind of life are we living, and why have we ended up in a space where no one else wants to be in our corner? That's a wake-up call, not a justification to cling to someone from the past. There's only one situation, in my view, where staying connected with an ex makes any logical sense: when the two of you share children. In that case, communication is sometimes necessary, for the sake of co-parenting and supporting your child's emotional well-being. But even then, that communication should be respectful, minimal, and strictly focused on parenting. Anything beyond that is unnecessary and often harmful. Trying to remain friends with an ex just to buy time, hoping to prove you've changed or waiting for them to come back, is not only unnecessary, it's foolish. It's one of the most damaging self-delusions we can fall into. Forgive me for being blunt, but it needs to be said: it's not smart. It's not brave. It's self-sabotage in disguise. If you continue to linger in the shadows of your ex, hoping they'll notice your growth, hoping they'll return out of guilt or habit, you're setting yourself up to be a backup option. And when they eventually meet someone new, because they will, they may begin to treat you poorly. They may dismiss you, disrespect you, take you for granted. And that pain, it will cut deep. So deep, in fact, that it may take you months, or even years to recover. I've seen people fall into depression over this. They didn't just lose a relationship, they lost themselves. So don't let that be your story. If you truly treasure the relationship you had, and you know in your heart that you were largely at fault for the breakup, and you still want to reconnect, then yes, your desire is valid. But please, go about it the right way. There is a method to emotional transformation. There is a path that works. And it doesn't involve begging, apologizing endlessly, playing the good friend, or proving how much you've changed by staying close. That's not how love rekindles. Instead, distance yourself. Allow the other person to feel the fear of losing you. Let them be curious about who you're becoming. Let them wonder, miss you, and make the effort to come back on their own terms, not because you stood by, hoping. That's the only way the love that returns has a chance of lasting. So if your goal is long-term happiness and real reconciliation, follow a path that nurtures self-respect, emotional independence, and inner strength. And if you ever need help understanding the phases of this emotional journey, how to act, what to say, what not to say, know that there are people and resources to guide you. And finally, these thoughts are my personal reflections on the question of staying friends with an ex after a breakup. You may feel differently, and I welcome that. If you have your own perspective, if you believe it's possible, or even beneficial, feel free to share your thoughts. The conversation matters. And if this message resonates with you, or you believe someone else out there needs to hear it, don't hesitate to share it with them, especially someone who may be struggling in the aftermath of a breakup. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care of your heart and your worth.